Elaine, do Andi's grandparents have a Ring door cam? Is there any surveillance video in their home?
Yes, ma'am. They do have a Ring door cam.
Was that retrieved?
And I'm pretty sure, no. From my understanding, it wasn't.
Did you look at it?
No. Wasn't shown to me.
Okay, you do know that the family is the repository. Like, if I want to look at my Ring camera, I can look on my phone and see what happened last. It's not the police are going to give it to you. You have to look at it yourself. It belongs to your grandparents. If they've got a Ring doorbell cam. Did you ever look at it?
No, ma'am. They never offered, or I asked. They never, I don't know how to say it. They never willingly say, hey, do you want to look at the Ring cam?
Okay, you're Andi's mom.
Car did she leave?
You're Andi's mom. Did you ever say, I'm trying to find Andi, I need to look at the Ring cam to see what kind of car she got into?
Yes, ma'am.
You said that, and they wouldn't give it to you?
They didn't. Did they not show it to me? No.
Why?
I don't know. They did show one other female, but they didn't show it to me.
Okay. Now I'm getting somewhere. And remember, everybody, I'm a JD, not a DDS. Don't know how to pull teeth. So, Elane Garcia, there is video, and they showed it to somebody else. And what, if anything, does it reveal?
I don't know. From my understanding is that this female went to the Wagners, took screenshots of the cam of whatever car picked her up, and then I was told that it was deleted after that. From my understanding, it was a red vehicle. I don't know what kind, what type. I just was told it was a red vehicle.
Okay, I am very, very confused right now, Steve Melling. Steve Melling joining us from 14 News as to what exactly is happening in this case. You've got a 24-year-old girl who walks out of her grandparents' house with an overnight bag to go visit friends. She's never seen again. And nobody obtained the Ring door cam video to show me what kind of car she got into. Is this real?
As far as I'm aware, you know, a very common for us, at least in this area, during the active investigations, police aren't going to release any necessarily any video that they, you know, can concretely tie, unless, you know, they feel like there's a strong indication, you know, that say, you know, we have another missing persons case here where there was a surveillance video of a woman who got into a Chevy Suburban, and the FBI worked with EPD on that case, and they ended up releasing that video. So I haven't asked police specifically if there is, you know, Ring doorbell footage of her leaving. So I can't concretely say whether or not they have that video.
Elane, where do the grandparents live?
They live off Oak Hill, very nice subdivision, has a huge library.
Elane Garcia, am I correct in believing that the grandparents' home is near Oak Hill Library?
Yes, ma'am. It's right off of Lynch. You go down Oak Hill, and it goes downhill, and there's this huge Oak Hill Library.
So it seems to me, and I want to go back to you, Brian Fitzgibbons, that the first thing you do is obtain the security cam from the library, from the red lights at either end of the street. If there is a cam, you pass businesses, you get their cams to try to piece together and figure out what red car she was in. That's number one. Number two, at the same time, I would be working on pings from her phone. Take a listen to our friends at Crime Online.
On August 12th, the Evansville Police Department sends out a missing person announcement to local media. The report says 24-year-old Andi Wagner was reported missing by a family member, and the last time they had any contact with her was on August 6th. Wagner is described as 5'6", 115 pounds, with brown hair and brown eyes. Andi has a mole near her upper lip and several tattoos. She has her mother's name on her forearm, a small rocket on her left ankle, and one with Roman numerals. She was last seen wearing an orange tank top and jeans.
An orange tank top and jeans. Now see, that would show up on security video. What, if anything, can you tell me, Elane Garcia, about your daughter's cell phone habits? Did she normally answer calls? Did she normally return texts?
Yes. Not 100% the time, but she would eventually. If I didn't hear from her in a day or two, I would definitely hear from her like the third or fourth day. She always kept in contact with me to let me know she was doing okay. She kept in contact with her grandmother and her sister the same way.
All contact ceased on August 6th?
Yes. Yes.
Joining me now is Dr. John. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. When I found out that she was missing, I called her number. It was answered, and it was hung up. I called again. I was restricted.
Had she ever restricted you before, Ms. Garcia?
No, ma'am.
So, Dr. John Delatorre joining us now, licensed psychologist specializing in forensic psychology. Dr. Delatorre, thank you for being with us. If she had never blocked her mother before in her whole life, after 24 years of living, I find it very difficult to believe that she would block her mother now.
Well, I totally agree. And as you described before about a person's routine is deeply inset in how they're going to behave from one day to the next. The only thing that would force someone to deviate from their routine is if there's something in distress that's happening. So they could be overwhelmed with something, or someone else has interrupted the person's routine, that there is a second person, potentially even a third person, that has come into that person's life and completely upended that person's routine.
You know what it brings to mind, Dr. Delatorre? It brings to mind, or to me anyway, Gabby Petito, who went on a cross-country trip in her Ford Transit with her then fiance, Brian Laundrie. And after he had murdered her, he came back using her credit card, using her Ford Transit, and he had her phone, and he had access and control over her phone, and he would text her family, accept or deny phone calls from her family, pretending to be her. So comparing that to this case where Elane tries to call Andi, the person picks up and hangs up when she realizes it's the mom, and then she immediately calls back and she's been blocked. What do you make of that, Dr. Delatorre?
Yeah, with Laundrie, this is someone who wants to make sure that that crime stays unheard of, right? It remains hidden. A behavior like this could signify that the person recognizes that the phone could be used to mark wherever it is that it's being held at. So they answer it to see if something is going on, but then immediately shut it down. Right. So it's certainly possible that the person is just simply trying to eliminate contact at all.
Elane, in your whole history with your daughter, Andi, who's just, by the way, beautiful young girl, had she ever blocked you before? You're saying no, correct?
No, she's never blocked me. No matter how mad or any arguments that we had, she would never block me.
And question, had she ever gone this long before and stay out of contact with you and her family ever?
Absolutely not. Especially, and I'm not trying to make anybody else look or make myself look bad, especially with me. Andi reached out to me every time she needed help, every time she felt like she was about to be in trouble. She reached out to me. Our thing when I was raising them was open communication. I said to them, if you do something or something happens, I may get mad, but I'm going to get over it, and we're going to get through it together.
Joining me right now is one of the founders of Brothers Underwater Recovery, a search and rescue dive team, also searches on land, who has been helping in the search for Andi. And you can find them online at Brothers Underwater Recovery. Ronnie, thank you for being with us. Tell me about your efforts trying to find this beautiful young girl, Andi.
Thank you, Miss Nancy, for having us. We have searched a lot of the strip pits and things. We've had some information come in to myself and Miss Garcia that, you know, there may be a boat involved in this case. So we do a lot of land searching, but mainly we do waterways with sonar technology. And that's what we're focused on mainly. At this point, there's over 300 strip pits in that area, and we're just trying to eliminate them all.
You know what's interesting in this case, or so many things, that she could just drop off the map, and there seemingly has been no real searches for her. We tried to contact police. I find that very, very unusual. I mean, I think or thought we were all on the same team trying to find Andi. And as a matter of fact, Miss Garcia, I recently did a crime alert about Andi's disappearance. Shortly after that crime alert, you had a meeting with law enforcement in which they basically scolded you for speaking about the case publicly. Is that true?
Yes, ma'am.
Why? Why do they not want you to bring attention to Andi's case?
I don't know, Miss Nancy.
Guys,
I honestly do not know.